Now at 9, Jasper County officials hold a ribbon cutting to celebrate the opening of a new courts building. Plus, how a Joplin-based eating disorder program is gaining national attention. And
Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is inching closer to the speakership one vote at a time. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington, where the latest count stands and why he does not have it just yet.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Jasper County has a new courts building, and today they celebrated with the ribbon cutting. And along with other community members, I was able to get a first look. Joplin is now home to the new Jasper County Courts building, and Judge David Moten never thought he'd see the day.
The Joplin Courts building has needed replaced for many years. I wasn't sure it would happen in my lifetime, but the people of Jasper County have come through on this and other large projects recently, and it's just amazing.
The court is home to 6 courtrooms, the 3 county offices, the prosecuting attorney, the circuit court, and court administration. Eric Teese, the court administrator, feels the building adds something to the community.
I think this building is unique in that it has a civic presence in downtown, which was really important to the community, but it also has a judicial presence as well. And I think that's really a really awesome component of this building.
Teese also says the building is an investment in the community.
Well, I think that was one of the big things that we wanted the public to know, is that this is an investment in our community, and we wanted to create a building that will last for 75 years or even longer. And that's important, because when we want to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars, and the community trusted us, the voters trusted us to perform.
The court will be running and open to the public starting Monday. All right, and now Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a little bit warmer for us today. The clouds all day long, but we popped into the 50s. 58 is where we topped out, started cold, 27. Normal high is 44 degrees, so a pretty good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year. Upper 40s yesterday, upper 50s for us today, so we'll definitely take that. We are going to cool back down a bit as we go into Saturday, but you can see lower 50s, southern counties, northern counties in the upper 30s. So we have about a 10 to 12 degree spread across the region. A lot of clouds, not much underneath them, but we will start to get some drizzle developing, especially after midnight tonight, and especially on the Kansas and the Missouri side along and north of I-44. So that's something that we're going to watch tonight into the morning hours, kind of periods of drizzle. Overnight low down to 44. Of course, we're going to look at the weekend and our next big storm system here in just a bit.
Independence, Kansas authorities responded to a hostage situation early this morning. Just before 3 a.m., authorities responded to a 911 call from a girl and hung up in the 200 block of West Magnolia. When they arrived, they learned that the boyfriend of the girl had cut her face and stabbed her in the leg and abdomen. The knife wounds did not appear to be serious. The suspect surrendered peacefully and the victim was released. There was no danger to the public. A Joplin-based eating disorder program is receiving some nationwide attention. Freeman's Ozark Center sent a representative to New York to promote its Reconnect program at a conference. The program takes a coordinated team approach to treating patients in an outpatient setting. Officials say that approach better serves rural communities that don't have access to traditional treatment centers and hope to see it replicated elsewhere.
We want to start sharing the story of what we've been doing here. We're the first program in the nation that we're aware of to build a program like this in a community mental health center, making sure that people that don't have insurance or don't have enough insurance have access to life-saving treatment. And so we want to start telling our story and making sure that other communities know that this is possible.
According to the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders, 9% of the U.S. population suffers from an eating disorder. Southeast Kansas today got a chance to hear from some of the people who represent them in state government. The Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce hosted this public forum at Pitt State, featuring state representatives Charles Smith and Ken Collins. The lawmakers discussed their views on several topics, and the chamber presented 3 issues it considers priorities for this area: the 4-lane highway project from Kansas City, continued support for PSU, and expansion of Medicare.
The Senate and the House, they both have so much on their plate. There are lots of priorities out there, lots of viewpoints, and it takes a while to work through those. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to make some progress on these 3 priorities.
The Kansas legislative session begins this coming Monday and lasts for 90 days. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is expressing confidence he'll be able to get enough support to clinch the nomination for House Speaker tonight. It's been an eventful week with pointed criticism, but he's managed to reach agreements with several Republican holdouts. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has details from Washington.
For more than a dozen long votes, Republican leader Kevin McCarthy has slowly made progress on getting more lawmakers in his corner. Still, there are too many holdouts. Every vote counts, and Friday night, some GOP lawmakers were flown from home back to the Capitol to try to get McCarthy over the line.
Just reminds me of what my father always told me. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And now we have to finish for the American public.
Members spent the past 4 days holding round after round of votes.
A speaker has not been elected.
There were contentious floor speeches as the split in the GOP was laid out publicly on which direction and leadership style they want.
Selflessness is not selling shares of yourself to the lobby corps and then doing their bidding at the expense of the American people.
Republicans have tried to spin the chaos as democracy in action.
I think that what these guys have done this week, I think it's going to make us a better House of Representatives in the future.
McCarthy has been working on a deal with the House Freedom Caucus on committee assignments, rule changes, and how they want to balance the federal budget.
The Speaker is the most important and the most powerful person in the building, and there needs to be an accountability unlike any other.
After everyone is sworn in, McCarthy has said he wants Republicans to get to work on revoking new funding for the IRS, which was part of the Inflation Reduction Act. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another 4-state hero. Ernest Bailey served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 1946. The Galena, Kansas native was stationed in Italy and Germany and received the Purple Heart. We salute Ernest Bailey, a 4-state hero. Coming up, we'll have some tips to help you tackle some of the credit card debt in the new year. Southwest says its recent service meltdown over the holidays is going to cost the airline at least $725 million and could hit up to $825 million. In a financial filing issued today, the airline said this will cause the company to report a loss in its fourth quarter. Revenue loss alone could cost Southwest at least $400 million. Other costs include reimbursements, extra employee hours, and the goodwill offerings of frequent flyer benefits to travelers. With inflation and interest rates digging a hole in many Americans' wallets, financial experts say 2023 is the year to tackle credit card debt. Fox's CJ Papa has more.
A recent LendingTree survey shows Americans took on an average debt of over $1,500 during the holiday season. That's up 24% from 2021. With a recession looming, more are looking for a quick way to pay it back.
We've seen that inflation may be leveling off, but is still certainly an issue. So whatever you can do to try and knock down that credit card debt, you should do, because if you do nothing, that debt you have is only going to get more expensive.
The average credit card debt per borrower was $5,474 in the third quarter, up from $4,857 in the same period of 2021. Experts say a 0% balance transfer credit card may be the best weapon in your arsenal against credit card debt.
Those cards can give you a year up to 21 months, depending on the card, without accruing any interest. Those sorts of cards can be an absolute godsend for somebody who is struggling with credit card debt.
The third quarter of 2022 saw more consumers turning to unsecured personal loans and credit cards to stave off financial pressures brought on by red-hot inflation.
It's almost always partially a sign of some people being confident in being able to manage that debt they're taking on, so they take on a little more. And then also folks who are taking on credit card debt because they don't have any choice, because they're struggling to make ends meet. There's no question that we're seeing some of both of that now, because we've seen throughout the pandemic, honestly.
It's not all bad news, though.
The data that we see from the Fed in terms of late payments and things like that are still really, really low. So it's a sign that, yeah, debt's increasing, interest rates are increasing, but by and large, people are still handling their business pretty well.
CJ Papa, Fox News.
Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Grove High School running back is named the Gatorade Oklahoma High School Football Player of the Year.
Hey, it turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. Not much in the way of sunshine, but we did get warmer temperatures, upper 50s for highs, and we still have the clouds out there right now, but a nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Look at our temps. There is a spread. Southern counties, southeasterly wind sitting into lower 50s. More of an east, northeasterly wind when you get in our northern counties. So we're sitting mainly upper 30s to lower 40s. But most of us are going to hang out into the mid 40s later on tonight. Let's go outside. It's 49. Easterly winds are light. Humidity is still fairly low. That's got to come up before we start to get some drizzle developing. And that's mainly going to be after midnight for us tonight. So a little bit of drizzle starting to develop over the next few hours. We hang into the 40s, kind of periods of very light drizzle and light showers through the overnight. You can see the thicker clouds across the region, but not much popping up underneath it as of yet. And again, this is a very weak system. We're going to get about a tenth or about a trace to 1/100th of an inch. So, I mean, this over the next 24 hours will barely make the ground even wet. But this is weak little wave. You can see the clouds kind of thickening up across the region. Rain chances, they start to go up 5, 6, 7 a.m. This is mainly drizzle. The reason the bar graph is so low, it's just kind of consistent drizzle throughout the daytime hours. All right, let's go through time. We're going to stop at 3 o'clock in the morning. Light showers and drizzle, mainly on the Kansas and Missouri side, north of I-44. Once you get down toward the Arkansas state line and also northeastern Oklahoma, you're mainly just going to have clouds. Let's go into the morning, periods of drizzle. Let's go into the noon hour, periods of drizzle. Let's go into the afternoon, periods of drizzle. And that is just about it. Maybe a quick little shower. Most of this rotates out by midnight tomorrow night, and then the clouds kind of stick around into Sunday morning. Then they'll start to head out of here and we get sunny skies back in by Sunday afternoon. High temps, upper 40s by Sunday afternoon. Day planner tomorrow, a lot of clouds, periods of very light drizzle, maybe a random shower, kind of hang out mid 40s. I think a high temp right around 49. All right, let's go down the road. We have a weak system. Monday into Tuesday passes by, we stay dry. Then we're going to watch our next bigger system. This system will pull out on Wednesday into Thursday. We need to see the exact track. Right now it looks like showers, maybe a few thunderstorms, but as that colder air works in on the backside, so this is late Thursday, may get a little bit of snow that tries to mix in, so something we want to keep our eyes on as we go through the next several days. All right, 49 tomorrow, 49 Sunday, 56 Monday, 48 on Tuesday, back near 60 on Wednesday, chances for showers, even a few thunderstorms on Thursday. In the second half hour, we're going to look at the long-range forecast for the rest of the month to kind of let everybody know when we'll have snow chances.
Oh, okay. So, at least for tomorrow, it's almost as if it's fall.
Yeah.
It's chilly with some drizzle.
It's just cloudy, a little bit of drizzle, not a huge deal.
All right, thank you, Doug.
You got it.
More severe storms are threatening the West Coast after a bomb cyclone caused widespread damage. People are up and down California's coast. We're out assessing damage today. Fox News senior correspondent Claudia Cohen has more.
California is getting a chance to dry out before another round of storms pummels the state. Up and down the coast on Friday, crews were out restoring power and clearing debris from a powerful bomb cyclone. The storm stirred up strong waves that damaged piers and flooded coastal communities. Hurricane-strength wind gusts left thousands of customers without electricity.
High winds with saturated ground, that makes the trees more vulnerable to failures. Stay away from the power lines, call 911, and then let the city officials and the utility crews come out and deal with it.
In the San Francisco Bay Area, the storm killed at least 2 people, including a 19-year-old woman whose car slammed into a utility pole on a flooded road. And 2-year-old Ion Tokini died after a falling redwood tree slammed into his family's mobile home in Sonoma County.
They're devastated. I mean, it's an absolute nightmare that it could happen to any family to lose a child.
Meanwhile, Californians are now bracing for more wet weather beginning tonight and running through next week. The National Weather Service predicts most places will see 2 to 4 inches of rain, while some mountain areas could see more than a foot of fresh snow. The system is also threatening to cause flash floods, power outages, and mudslides.
Ground's incredibly dry, so once it gets saturated, those things come down pretty easily.
Officials are urging residents to prepare for flooding and to stay off the roads if they can. In Sausalito, California, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Coming up, a new warning from federal health officials.
Get those COVID booster shots because a new strain is here and experts say it's the most contagious so far. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
A new dominant COVID variant continues to spread across the country, and health officials say it's the most transmissible strain we've seen so far. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more from Atlanta.
As the triple-demic of COVID, flu, and RSV grinds on, the focus this week is turning to a new COVID variant that could be the most contagious so far. It's called XBB 1.5, an Omicron offshoot that is now responsible for almost half of all new COVID infections in the U.S., up from just 4% at the start of December. The good news, there's now strong evidence that while the variant is more transmissible, it's not any more dangerous than the original Omicron.
Right now, as we're looking at preliminary data, you don't see a disproportionate rise of hospitalizations and deaths associated with this particular subvariant.
The CDC hopes new testing requirements for passengers from China will help slow the spread of COVID. Travelers arriving Friday were the first to fall under the new rule. Public health experts are concerned about what areas of high circulation, such as China, will do to the virus itself.
It's the question of having so much transmission in China that could be the seedbed for a new variant to come up, because that provides the opportunity for this virus to mutate.
But Beijing is strongly protesting the new measures and also pushing back at accusations from the U.S. that they're concealing key data about the current outbreak in China.
All countries' COVID-19 measures should be based on facts and science. There should not be any attempts to politicize the issue.
The World Health Organization says the new strain has already spread to at least 29 countries. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Up next, we're going to learn why treasure hunters in the Netherlands are once again searching for treasure stolen by the Nazis. A treasure hunt is underway in the Netherlands this week. An old map believed to mark where Nazi soldiers allegedly hid treasure worth millions of euros during World War II is sparking national interest. Amateur treasure hunters are heading into rural Amran ready to hunt for the treasure with their metal detectors and shovels after the map was made public by the Dutch National Archive. According to the National Archive, the treasure is reportedly 4 large boxes filled with diamonds, rubies, gold, silver, and other jewelry items stolen by Nazi soldiers from a bank in August of 1944. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Why a popular outdoor spot in Allen County, Kansas could see some changes.
It's been 2 years since the Capitol riot, and the impacts of that attack are still being felt. I'm Martha Rivera in Washington with more on lawmaker reaction coming up.
Changes for Iola Lane Lake in Allen County. The owners deciding not to renew the lease on the property after decades. KOAM Jean Houdela talked with the members of the Iola Elks Club, which was the long-term lease of the lake.
I've always loved this area. It's, you know, even on this side, it's a great area just to come out, just to reflect on everything. I know a number of members are disappointed because they made a lot of memories. being able to come out in the summers.
For 40 years, the local Elks Club leased the Iola Lake from Iola Industries. Todd Francis, exalted ruler for the Elks, says last June they received a letter stating they were terminating the lease on December 31st.
We had actually been able to develop the property to a point where it was very popular, not only among local members, but also for the town of Iola and local area, and then also in the statewide it was well known.
The Elks held several events at the lake. The local organization is disappointed about the decision without discussion. Any property from the Elks needed to be removed, leaving the lake in its original condition. Ryan Sieg, the lake chairman, says they installed a lot of new things the past years.
We spent a lot of time out there. I spent a lot of time and a lot of personal money out there to try to better the facility. We grew in membership by several members by some of the upgrades and some of the stuff we had done out there.
Iola Industries told the Elks they appreciate the past partnership. Francis says they are looking to partner with whoever Iola Industries decides to work with.
This is a great area. It brings in people to Iola, but it also gives us an opportunity to work with the new group and continue to hold a good partnership.
In Iola, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Yana reached out to Iola Industries about their decision to terminate the lease. We have not heard back. While access to the lake is currently locked, residents can still use trails around the area. The Downtown Joplin Alliance tonight brought back an old event. They hosted the first wine share since March of 2020. It's a unique networking opportunity sponsored by different local businesses. Attendees are asked to bring a bottle of wine or craft beer to spend the evening with other downtown enthusiasts.
To fill this kind of need in the community, so it will be available for our market vendors. We've got market vendors that will be selling out of it on Saturdays. We also have market vendors who will be using it to prepare some of their foods throughout the week.
The wine shares will take place on the first Friday of every month. More encouraging news from the University of Cincinnati Medical Center today, where Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin is talking to his family and care team. The 24-year-old surprised teammates with a video call during their morning meeting. Hamlin went into cardiac arrest on the football field Monday, but was quickly rescued with CPR with a defibrillator. The Bills will be wearing a special 3 patch this weekend in support of Hamlin, as other tributes take place across the NFL. Peloton has agreed to pay $19 million for failing to report unsafe treadmills and disturbing recalled ones. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says it's one of the largest civil penalties in its history. That's largely due to Peloton originally declining to recall its Tread Plus treadmills despite an urgent request. No comment yet from Peloton about the fine. It's been 2 years since a mob ransacked the U.S. Capitol. President Biden is marking the anniversary by bestowing medals on some who defended the building that day. After a Democrat-led House committee spent the year looking into the riot, Republicans have their own plans to investigate what happened. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
A moment of silence on the steps of the Capitol to remember the officers who died or were hurt in the wake of the Capitol riot on January 6th.
We stand here today with our democracy intact because of those officers.
At the White House, President Biden awarded 14 people with a Presidential Citizens Medal, one of the country's highest civilian honors. The 14 recipients include law enforcement who defended the Capitol and state and local officials who rejected the pressure to overturn the 2020 election results.
And history will remember your names. They'll remember your courage.
And as Capitol Hill Police receive bipartisan praise,
I want to especially thank the Capitol Hill Police for what they do. We thank them not only for what they've done.
The speaker fight on the House floor shows democracy still intact.
It can be messy and try a country's patience. But we must never forget the dark days we've been through.
Since the riot, the January 6 House Select Committee has completed its investigation into the attack. Their work culminating in criminal referrals for former President Trump and some of his allies.
If there's one place in the country that it's broken through the least, I think it's the Republicans in the House.
Republicans are planning to investigate the work of the January 6 committee, one of several probes they are looking to conduct. In Washington, Matha Rivera, Fox News.
A bit later, the future of technology on display.
Thousands of new inventions now on display at this year's Consumer Electronics Show. I'm Marianne Rafferty with a special look at some unique gadgets coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a decent day for us today. Temperatures really not that bad, upper 50s. We just didn't get much in the way of sunshine across the region. We still have the clouds out there right now. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temperatures vary across the region. Southeasterly winds, southern counties, you're in the 50s. You drop to the 40s. Easterly wind, Iola down to 38. Yates Center is sitting at 41. So about a 12-degree spread across the region. In Joplin, 49 easterly winds are light. Humidity still 44%. Still got to come up some before we get a little bit of patchy drizzle beginning late tonight into the morning hours. Overnight low right around 44 degrees. You can see the thicker clouds across the region continuing to thicken up. Underneath them, not much going on. So we are dry. We're going to stay dry over the next several hours, and then we'll start to get a little bit of drizzle, a few random showers. This is a very weak system. It's not going to give us much moisture at all. It's just going to make it kind of gloomy out there over the next 36 hours. Let's go through time. Here's 3 a.m. You can see the light drizzle, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, mainly along and north of I-44. So if you live in Oklahoma, extreme southwestern Missouri, you're mainly just going to stay cloudy through most of this event. 8 a.m. tomorrow, spotty drizzle, mainly same spots. We can go to the noon hour, spotty drizzle, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri. As we get into the afternoon, most of us sitting into the 40s, dropping into the 30s in our western counties, but still we have some light drizzle. All this rotates out of here tomorrow night. The clouds stick around into the morning hours on Sunday, then we clear out, and then we get some sunshine as we head into Sunday afternoon. Here's your day planner, just kind of cloudy with spotty drizzle, high temp of 49. We start to cool off as we go into the evening hours. We do have a weak little wave, kind of slides through Tuesday, but we stay dry. Then a much bigger system, this is going to roll out as we go into Thursday. So on Wednesday, clouds increase, we warm up ahead of it. Then we got to watch where's the track of this area of low pressure. This will most likely give us showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. As it passes by and the colder air filters in, we'll have to see where it mixes with a little bit of snow. So just something we want to keep our eyes on. So we have that system next week, our next bigger system. Let's go down the road. So on the 16th and 17th, so this is the beginning of the following week, we got a system, rain, possibly over to snow. That week, Friday the 20th, rain, possibly over to snow. The following week, the 22nd through the 24th, just little storm systems. Big storm system, 31st and 1st. So 31st of this month, February 1st, much better shot for snow, and the Arctic air returns. Remember that right before Christmas? Yeah, the Arctic air will return. All right, 49s over the weekend. The thunderstorm chances on Thursday, and then we cool back down for next weekend.
Well, for those of you at home, Doug gave you a heads up. Get those tires checked, make sure they're blown up, maybe replace them so that you're all safe moving forward throughout the rest of the month.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right. Thank you, Doug. Coming up in sports, the Joplin Eagles hit the floor aiming to move on to the Kaminsky Classic Championship. Plus, a Player of the Year honors for Northeast Oklahoma standout running back. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Well, tonight is semifinal night at the Kaminsky Classic at Joplin High School. And we have two local teams still alive on the championship side, including tournament host Joplin Eagles. And Joplin hits the floor tonight in the semifinals against Francis Howell. In the first quarter, Terrence Gibson for Joplin hits it for two. And the foul. Eagles up early 7-6 in the first. Now Quinn Renfro knocking down the jumper. It goes down. Howell keeps it competitive. They take the lead. Now into the first. Fred Taylor looking to cut into that Vikings lead with the layup there. Howell, though, leads 12-11 after the first. A tight one early, all right. 6 in the first half. There's two of them with the short jumper, but the Vikings extend their lead. Donovan Sparks, corner three, gets the Howell lead to 7. Back to all right, though, right before half. He scores 25 for Joplin. The Vikings hold off the Eagles tonight in the end, 57-49. Well, this week is the final week of the regular season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs hit the road tomorrow afternoon facing their AFC West rival Las Vegas Raiders. Like we do every Friday during the season, right now it's time to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
I was going to talk about the Raiders and Chiefs in this episode, but I can't. I just can't. Not what after happened Monday night in the Bills-Bengals game. The situation surrounding Buffalo safety Damar Hamlin is heartbreaking. He went from a name on a card to something else here, and prayers continue to go out for him and his family. Damar's situation, though, reminds us to thank the professionals who use their skill and training to handle some of the most difficult moments, the most extreme moments. The Chiefs have an incredible group of people who train for such circumstances. One is Vice President for Athletic Training and Sports Performance, Rick Burkholder, who has been with Coach Reed for 24 seasons. And Rick's staff works closely with the Chiefs doctors, Dr. Paul Schreppel, Jean-Philippe Darche, Luke Thompson, Mike Monaco, and Scott Mullen. They do amazing work on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
That Chiefs-Raiders game kicks off at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon in Vegas. And right now, the Chiefs are 9-point favorites. Well, Grove High School running back Emmanuel Crawford has been named the Gatorade Oklahoma High School Football Player of the Year. Crawford had a monster senior season for the Ridge Runners, finished with 2,304 rushing yards and 36 touchdowns this season. He also racked up 546 more yards and 7 touchdowns through the air. Crawford has the most career rushing yards in Oklahoma 5A history with 6,777 yards.
It kind of felt surreal with all the, good players in the state from Tulsa and, other areas of Oklahoma. It's just such an honor to even be a finalist and let alone win the award. And so I'm truly humbled by it.
That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
The 2023 Consumer Electronics Show is in full swing with thousands of unique inventions aiming to improve our lives and the world around us. Fox News correspondent Marion Rafferty takes a look.
A color-changing car, an electromagnetic massage chair, and even a device for testing the ripeness of your avocados.
We are using a non-destructive method with light that shines through the avocado and measures the ripeness state.
These are just a tiny portion of the thousands of inventions now on display at the 2023 Consumer Electronics Show in fabulous Las Vegas.
Really amazing, jaw-dropping, mind-blowing. It's really hard to put everything into words.
After last year, CES was scaled down due to the Omicron variant. Officials say this year's event will be bigger and better, with gadgets primed to enhance our lives, like this brainwave scanning helmet.
This machine could work for early detection of Alzheimer's dementia, or some Parkinson's, depression, or some mild traumatic brain injuries.
And innovations to help make the planet greener, like this foldable electric bike and these electric-powered rollerblades.
You have 20 miles per hour top speed, 20 miles autonomy. So the main goal of Atmos Gear is for people to use skates as a means for daily commutes.
Meanwhile, this robotic dog may be entertaining, but the startup behind it hopes its artificial intelligence voice-controlled technology can stem beyond toys.
The idea is you can control any machines, from robots to drones to cars to aircraft, with your voice. You don't have to be an engineer.
Besides these gadgets, tech enthusiasts can also expect to see more virtual reality devices geared for the metaverse. CES ends Sunday. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll get a first look at Nicolas Cage as Dracula in a new movie. Music icons team up, Avatar: The Way of the Water banks, and First Look's debut. Fox News Edge entertainment reporter Ashley Dvorkin has all of this and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
Icons team up, Avatar swims to the top, and sink your teeth into a new vampire comedy in today's Hollywood Nation.
Renfield.
It's horror, comedy, and Nicolas Cage as Dracula. Take a first look at Renfield. The trailer shows Nicholas Hoult playing the title character, Dracula's loyal servant, ready for life outside his work with the Prince of Darkness. The film is in theaters April 14th. Netflix shared a closer look at the series Breakpoint, which premieres January 13th. It follows a group of top tennis players on and off the court competing in Grand Slams and tournaments all over the world.
I'm never going to meet a woman who understands me.
The streamer also released a full trailer for the movie You People, which debuts January 27th. A star-filled cast includes Jonah Hill, Lauren London, Eddie Murphy, Nia Long, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and David Duchovny. The comedy is about a rideshare mix-up turned love story, which is in turn tested by their respective families. At the box office, Avatar: The Way of Water has surpassed Top Gun: Maverick at the global box office as the top-grossing film of 2022, with more than $1.5 billion. It's now the 10th highest-grossing film of all time. In music news, Shania Twain released a new single and video for Giddy Up off her upcoming album Queen of Me, out February 3rd. And Dolly Parton, Belinda Carlisle, Cyndi Lauper, Gloria Estefan, and Debbie Harry revealed they have a new single, Gonna Be You, from the movie 84 Brady, written by Diane Warren. The tune drops January 20th. The movie is in theaters February 3rd. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of a panda at the Adelaide Zoo taking a sawdust bath. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you there.